Hi guys, hope you're all having a great day. Today I'm going to show you how I produced this painting in Artstudio Pro using a really cool brush called the colour brush. With this brush you can apply two colours to the brush at the same time and apply them to the canvas. Really cool effects that you can get. And I'm also going to experiment with layers a little bit, so I'm not using multiply, layer or add. I'm just going to sort of mess around and look at some other layers. And also the video is in real time, so you'll get to see how I do things at a reasonable speed, and it's not just going to go blasting through that at a racer knots where you think, what's it done there? So let's get into it. The secret about this brush is the fact that you can use two colours with it, and you can see I'm selecting a colour now. And I'm going for sort of a blue-green colour, and you don't see that on the colour sliders. And then you choose a second colour in the conventional way on the colour sliders, and as you start to apply the paint, I've got this sort of yellow-green colour and then this blue-green colour underneath it. So you can see I've gone in there again. You select the more option for the brushes along the bottom, and once you've done that you can choose the colors. You see I've selected it again and I'm going in there. You can choose the colors off the color palette, or you can use the sliders to adjust it yourself. And then by putting a brush stroke on, you get these two colors appearing on the canvas. So this is just like having a brush, two colors on a palette, dipping one side of your brush in one color, one in the other, and then applying it. So I just love this straight away, because to do this with most brushes it'd be a real pain. It'd be quite time consuming to work like this way. It took me a while to work out this feature of the brush, because as you apply pressure you get the color of the from the color palette, i.e. or from the colors that you've selected from the slider. If you put very light pressure on, you get the colour that you've selected for the brush. So by adjusting the pressure, you can get light. You can get one colour or the other colour. The default colour is white. So because I was working on a white canvas, I was thinking to start with that what was happening was, as you applied light pressure, it was just putting on a thinner layer of paint, not a different colour. So it did take me a while. I made another video that I recorded before this, which I go into quite a detailed painting with it. But I wanted to show you this one first, because I had this idea after I painted the first one that I could do something quite unique with it, with layers. So I'm going to use some layers within this painting, but not. I normally go with multiply and add to add light and shade, but I've chosen some different layers to get some different effects. So you can see I've sort of just laid these colors on to give the kind of impression that we've got some sort of leaves there in the background, and then a little bit of foreground with some sort of bright yellow. I copy the blue off the midground, and then I put that into the foreground as well. There we go, that's going in. That just sort of brings a bit of balance to the whole affair. So sort of got the background on there, and then I go in and I create a new layer, and I set the blend mode to color burn. And what that does, it's difficult to describe what it does. I'm not an expert in blend modes at all. I generally use multiply and add, as I say, but there's a lot of other effects you can get, and the color burn just sort of adds. It certainly makes it. You get darker strokes in there, but if you're going on lighter strokes, it's weird. It just makes the colors look really, really vibrant. So yeah, you'll need to search other videos to find out exactly what color burn does. It sort of makes the colours are really vibrant. I can see on the tree trunk on the left as I'm looking at it that it really lifts those. So I just sort of sketch in this tree with the brush set to, it looks about 8/10 of the way of the max size of it on the slider, and then I just keep reducing the size of that slider just slightly to keep adding more branches into it. And the idea of this this is not just sort of an exercise to show you what you can do with this brush. I'm actually going to print this out because in my garden I've got this sort of 5-pit area which I've shown you on one of the videos recently, and I'll be highlighting that again as I make more videos of my new studio. But I want to put this wall hanging on it, so I'm going to get this printed out on heavy duty vinyl, the type that they put on the sides of 40-foot trailers that you know, takes loads of battering, so I know it will weather really well. And I'm going to apply that to like a perspex material, frame it with timber, and then fix it to one of the fence panels. So I've got this bohemian looking wall hanging in the garden next to the 5-pit. So that's what this is going to be. I'll probably make a video showing you that because I think that'd be quite interesting. But you can see I've just sort of painted this tree in, and at the minute I'm using, I suppose, analogous colours really. We've got lots of colours that lie next to each other on the colour wheel within a band of yellow through to green and blue really. So you call those analogous colours, and I want to go in and brighten it up a bit as though it's sort of, I don't know, got blossom on the tree or something like that. So you can see I changed the colour of the background brush there, and I'm going in with well, blues and purples is what I'm hoping I'm going to do. This recording is in real time, so I thought I would do that to show you exactly how this works, because it's sort of lots of layers going off. I'm going in now with another layer, and I'm using soft light for this one. So I've selected soft light. Here we go, and I'm going in with this pink, and the idea is I thought that would look like blossom, and straight away I like that because it's adding a complementary colour to this, which just sort of makes it pop. And I'm just putting dabs of colour on the canvas really, just to lift that up a bit. So this was soft light. And that to me has transformed it now. It's really got some depth. And you can see again, it affects the colours underneath it. Depending on if you're on a light background or a dark background, it affects it very differently. I'm now looking at an orange. Oh, this is for the foreground. I decide that foreground is what I've got way too much foreground. I don't need that, and I think cropping it more square will make this a much more dynamic looking image. There we go. So I crop that off at this point. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm not sure what I'm doing now because this, as I say, is in real time. You can see all the layers I've got selected there. One with the background, one with the tree, one with the blossom. Now I'm going in with another one, blend mode. This time I go for hard light, and this does a similar sort of thing as soft light, but really pumps them colours in. Look how sharp and vibrant they look. So this is the effect I'm looking for. I think this is looking really bohemian, really bright. It's going to look great in the garden next to the 5-pit on the wall. I'm just adding those extra bits of colour. I mean, it's a real abstract piece really, totally out of my head. I've not used any source material. I'm not referenced any trees or anything like that. This is just something that that I made up really. So there we go. I'm experimenting with blend modes. Really does make you can get some really cool effects that you can't get any other way. I don't know as if you could ever paint this in a conventional way. You might be able to do it with inks or get something very close to it using ink, but I don't think you could do that with paint. Look how I'm writing on there. How sort of that's looking very funky. Yeah, so that is it. That is my bohemian painting using the colour brush from Artstudio Pro. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, a big thumbs up as always is much appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, because I've got lots of videos like this and I would love to be sharing them with you. So hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.